Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today's topic is: do you actually want capitalism? And the reason why I'm having this topic today is because of the economy right now, and a lot of people are saying that they are like not happy with the economy and that they're not happy with their own personal finances. However, the economy is doing great, like from every measure, from the stock market to GDP to imports and exports to wages growing to corporate profits, and literally every single indicator is showing that the economy is doing unbelievable. Even the Wall Street Journal, which, if you don't know the reference, the Wall Street Journal is literally the most conservative financial publication, is saying that the United States economy is so strong, it's literally powering the world. We have the world's strongest economy, and relative to the rest of the world, our economy is stronger than it's been in maybe a generation, like in the last 50 years. So like, this isn't just like, oh, it's doing good because it's coming out of COVID. Like, this is actually sound, strong economic data that shows that the economy in just about every single way is doing well. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that needs to be sunken in. A lot of people are just like, well, but like, no, like there are indicators. Like, there are indicators. But we also still want to acknowledge a personal feeling. Now, I believe that we're being kind of manipulated into thinking things are worse than they are, because it's for the political benefit of certain folks, right? So they don't care about the truth. They're going to sit there and cherry pick and try and finagle ways to make you feel a kind of way. But that's why it's important for us to be able to have objective measures and factors to determine those things, so that we can't be manipulated. We can say like, no, it's just like, okay, I might feel like I am in shape, but hey, I can't fit into those jeans. Like, that's a nice objective thing to say. Like, hey, if you can't fit into those jeans, hey, maybe you might want to watch some things in terms of your weight. But if you're sitting there and not using those objective factors and just using like your eyes or what people are telling you, you might have some variance there, right? But I suggest that, like, if corporations are doing well and all these things are doing well, yet you're not feeling it, then your problem is something else. It's actually not the strength of the economy. It's what makes an economy strong that's your problem. And it's the kind of economy, right? And I would venture to say that your problem is actually with capitalism. Your problem is not with the economy, because the economy is doing just fine. You know what I'm saying? And all the rich people that really control the economy are making tons of money, and they're great. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I think your issue is actually with the notion of capitalism, and if we're able to be able to gain the kind of wealth that we can. Because under the capitalist system, there is really, in a pure capitalist system, there is no regulation, right? A lot of the regulations that we're familiar with that we, kind of like, came out of the New Deal. And that was post the Great Depression, when, remember, well, you don't remember, but like, hopefully we've read about it in school, that, they had like penny wages, and like, people were poor and in soup kitchens, and there was unbelievable homelessness and illness and all these things. And they had some of the richest people on earth, but Americans just really weren't sharing in any of that prosperity. And that was all legal. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you wanted the job, oh well, you know what I'm saying? This is the conditions that you had to do it. Hey, if you want to eat, hey, take your kid out of school and have them work in the mine next to you. That was the world that they were living in 100 years ago, less than 100 years ago. And we had a lot of these regulations and government policies and agencies to kind of force corporations to be slightly more humane, right? And have these 40-hour work weeks and minimum wage concepts, and, pensions and retirement, and things that like really, that we take for granted today, that like, if you actually study capitalism, that is not capitalist, that's socialist. All the things that you really enjoy, like the 40-hour work week, having health standards, and mandatory vacate, all that stuff that like you like, is not capitalist at all. It is definitely a socialist construct, because capitalism is all about making money, and and the ability to force that way. So like, and that's why we kind of need regulation, because if business gets too large, we have no choice. We'll kind of be a slave to the business, because they own the resources that we all need. So I say that to say that, like, if you are unhappy about some of the economics of your own personal life, and the economy is going extremely well, it's the notion that businesses are able to price gouge. They're able to charge whatever they want. That's what's going on. If you look at the cost of goods relative to inflation, they want to blame inflation, but inflation, as I said in previous videos, has never been more than 10%. I was like, in our modern times. But the prices have gone up 50 to 100%. And without government regulation, there's no way to stop that. We all know that there's collusion. You know what I'm saying? These companies that we think are separate companies are actually not. They've been bought out and consolidated. And, we've seen articles about, real estate, about how they have property owners have colluded to make sure prices are rising so that it's not a natural competition thing. And that's what business generally does. Business is going to make sure they can make the most money and not provide a value to you. The only way that they'll give you a sale or something is if they see something is slumping. But otherwise, they're going to collude as they always had. And it's been regulations and government that has really stepped in the way to really help. You know what I'm saying? And help the average consumer before businesses get way too large. So I would implore you, and I'm not going to feed you with all the things. I just need you to do some research yourself and just see what these corporations are doing. And your actual issue is how corporations are paying you. Are they actually paying wages that they should? Are they lowering wages and forcing people to work too long? Are they inflating prices? And we know that they have been. Why are all the retailers like Amazon and Target and everything now they're oh, we're going to lower our prices by 30%? All of a sudden that's just something that they're doing. Maybe it's because they've all been making record profits for the last 3 years, and now they're hey, maybe we should lower profits because now it's getting to a point where it's affecting them. And so I just encourage you to see that that's actually your issue. Your issue is with corporations. And if you say, oh, no regulations, lower government and everything of that nature, that is actually lowering our ability to do anything about it. Businesses would have, if it's not for us having lawsuits against some of these businesses and corporations for consolidation and everything like that, we'd be absolutely screwed. We'd end up with 3 companies owning everything, and then we'd be forced. You know what I'm saying? It's to do it. Competition is something that the government sponsors. So I just say have a different perspective on it. Your issue is probably not the economy. It probably is the large businesses that control everything in it and have colluded together to make sure that we not only are paying more and they're getting more wealth, but that we are blaming the wrong things so that they will continue to get more wealth, and then we will actually sabotage our own selves from the mechanisms that allow us to control it. And I think you already know which party is for completely non-regulations and free market everything, allowing businesses to do whatever they want. And I think you also know the party that's actually for regulations, for fair wages, for enforcing 40-hour work weeks and living wages and product equity and having the FDA and regulations that make sure we're safe. So until next time.